Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With fishingbooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. Fishingbooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to fishingbooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today. Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With fishingbooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. Fishingbooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to fishingbooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.
They've got that hog bait right on the edge of the water. We come around this point, they're like, we should see them. We get around there, there's no dogs, there's no hog. There's not a hog in these woods big enough to push that pack of 6 or 7 hounds back up in that woods. They're like, we're running a bear. Those hounds are going to run that bear all day long. Our best bet is to go back to the truck and get the other pack of dogs that we left there. Never realizing at one point that I completely left my brother-in-law and my family friend in the middle of a swamp.
Howdy, folks, and welcome to the Hunting Stories Podcast. I'm your host, Michael, and we got a great episode for you today. Today, we're actually connecting with another podcaster. His name's Ben Sheets, and he helped me out because I didn't have an episode until like a day ago, and here we are releasing one. So I want to say thank you to Ben for coming on, sharing his stories. He's got some unique stories. He is a hound hunter, which is super cool. Very different than your normal Eastern or Western hunters. They're a different breed. Also, I think something that all hunters want to get into, but it seems like this is like a high barrier to entry. So it's cool to hear these stories. So I want to say, Ben, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I really do appreciate it. For you listeners, thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoy these stories as much as I do. If you do, when the episode's all said and done, go ahead and give us a like and a follow. Would appreciate that. Now let's go ahead and kick this thing off and let Ben tell you some of his stories. Thank you. All right, Ben. Welcome to the Hunting Stories Podcast, brother. How are you, man?
Pretty good. How are you?
I am doing well, especially with your silky smooth voice here joining me today, man. Man, I'm excited to hear some stories from you. So the listeners know I didn't have a guest lined up, but I reached out to a group that I'm in of fellow podcasters, and Ben, you were like, man, let's just jump on right now, and here we are, man. So thank you for saving my rear end because I missed last week and I didn't want to miss 2 in a row. And man, why don't you go ahead and start this thing off by introducing yourself?
Well,
maybe a little bit about your hunting history, and then of course tell the people about your podcast because I think it's super interesting. We've been talking about it for a little while here. So go ahead.
Well, I absolutely understand exactly what you mean about needing someone to save your butt. I've made a few phone calls on my show goes out Tuesdays. There's been quite a few podcasts recorded, edited, and uploaded on Monday nights. So I get it.
It's a grind.
Yeah, it absolutely is. But my podcast is called Tree Talking Time. It's all about hunting with tree dogs, and tree dogs are dogs that put game up a tree. So it's squirrels. In the intro, I say squirrels to bears and everything in between. So that covers squirrels, raccoons, bear, mountain lion, bobcat, theoretically lynx. I don't know if I've ever had anybody on that hunts lynx just because it's more of a Canadian thing than a States thing.
Yeah, I think in Colorado it's illegal. I think
it's illegal in the entire United States to hunt lynx. But.
Okay, yeah, interesting. Did not know that. I just knew my local state regs. So, okay, cool. Well, tell us about you. So that your podcast. I love the subject matter. I've said this 100 times in the podcast. I've never had a bird dogger. Not even bird dogger, but like a hound hunter on that didn't have great stories. They always are crazy. I had one guy on, and all he talked about was training dogs and the stories that he's seen with dogs going crazy training, and it was also absolutely insane. So I'm excited to hear your stories. But let's learn a little bit more about you, Ben. Where you from? How long you been hunting? What do you got for us?
So I don't know if you'd call me technically an adult onset hunter. Like a lot of hound hunters, I grew up, watched where the red fern grows, and was like, I need to do that.
Okay.
Well, my family were not hunters, so that's why I was kind of like stuck in limbo. High school rolled around, early 2000s, internet forums were huge, so I was cruising around on all these internet forums. Ended up finding a guy that was pretty close to my college, but then also ended up randomly finding a guy that lived in my hometown that had squirrel dogs. I went on a squirrel hunt or two with him and his dogs. But then when I went to college is when I really started hunting with like I said, this guy that I met through a forum, but he became
That's
like
super cool, man. Let me ask, so you went straight into hound hunting. You didn't even like go like, I'm gonna go shoot a deer with a rifle, or like, was it just you were infatuated with the hound process?
We had a landlord growing up that their house was just full of mounts and everything, from deer, bear, wild boar, ducks, pheasants, everything. And I was like just enamored by it. And it was like, I think that's kind of what really got me interested in hunting. And then right around the same time is when I watched Where the Red Fern Grows. And he had bird dogs and he had beagles. And while he never took me with the dogs, he did take me out deer hunting a few times. We never saw anything.
Okay.
When I turned, I don't know, 14, 15 years old, I did go through a hunter safety course, did try to go deer hunting. That was a fiasco. Never saw anything. And so
yeah, that's
it
hunting.
was kind of like not my thing. Like, people sitting still, being quiet in a tree when it's cold. I'm like, it just wasn't my thing. I was always a dog lover and wanted to work with dogs. So anything
that's cool, man.
Was like drew me in. So
yeah. What was it for, like, what made you a dog lover? Did you just have a great hound growing up, or what was it for you before even hunting that made you just like know that when you did start hunting, that's where you're starting?
Honestly, for my entire life, I've been obsessed with dogs. I could not tell you what started it.
Okay.
You know, my bedroom when I was a little kid was 101 Dalmatians. You know, I've had dog books and stuffed animals since I was, 3, 4, 5 years old.
Okay,
so
that's cool. What's your favorite non-hunting species of dog?
That's really hard. I don't know. I like a good working dog.
Pomeranian.
While we have 2 dogs that are non-working dogs, they're definitely not my favorite. But I don't know. I like a good working dog of any kind. Watching, a Belgian Malinois do production work, watching a Kelpie herd cattle or sheep, sled dogs. I think it's all really cool. Yeah. If I would have lived somewhere else, if I would have been around different people, I might have went down any of those different rabbit holes. Okay. So I like, for whatever reason, working with a dog and doing a job has always appealed to me. And like I said, that's been various things, but just hunting with them is kind of where I fell. So
that's so interesting, man. That's a very unique path. I've talked to a lot of guys, a lot of adult onset hunters. A lot of guys have been hunting their whole lives, but I think you're the first one that just like started with hounds, and I love that. That's really cool.
We'll use the word hound lightly.
Started with pups.
Hound was with a feist, which a feist is a small terrier-like dog, squirrel dog. So started with feist, then went into curs, which curs are kind of between a feist and a hound. So medium-sized dog. They don't have quite as long of an ear, tend to be a hotter nose, squirrel dog, maybe sometimes coon dog. You occasionally find some curs that'll be hunted on big game, but mostly today, most cur dogs are squirrel dogs.
Interesting. Okay. So we'll go back to when you said you were in college and you met this guy in your town or whatever. Fill us in on the rest of how that went. And then I'd like you to, if you can, get to the point where you were like, this is it. This is my personality now. Like, I know this is what I want to do. So if you can get us from A to B there, that would be awesome.
So the guy in college that I met was through the internet, and he was actually in the town where I went to college, I live in Pennsylvania. I went to college in Ohio. So I was 8 hours from home. And so his house became my second home. If I wasn't in my dorm room, I was at his house. Okay. And it just provided me a great escape from school, and I was there all the time. And he welcomed me in. He's like, here's where the spare keys at. He said, come on in. He goes, go get yourself a shotgun or the 22. Go get the tracking system. Go get a dog. Head to the woods behind the house. Yeah.
So was this guy like similar in age, or was he like a mentor, older guy?
He was retired sheriff's deputy.
Okay.
He was in his, at the time, he would have been like late 50s, early 60s. I don't know. I'd have to do some math there, which I'm not great at on the fly.
Okay. Very cool, man. So just straight up internet to, dog hunting mentor. That's really awesome.
Yeah. And, I ended up doing a lot of different things with him. Like, basically it was like if he needed help doing something, I was there. He had a little farm, he had chickens and cows and horses, and so I worked on his farm, like I said, did all kinds of things. Went goose hunting with him. What else did we do? We did all, like, literally anything there. But it all started with dogs, and I still go out there and see him, and like I said, him and his wife became like my second parents out there. So
that's really a cool story. I've used the internet to find a turkey hunting buddy. There was an older guy as well, and he walked me through everything. He ended up moving from Colorado to Wyoming, and at the time he still lived 4 hours away. But like, it's cool that relationship to develop that way. I still reached out to my turkey hunting mentor, but we never quite blossomed the same way that your relationship did. So that's awesome. I'm a little jealous, but keep going. So did he take you out at first, or did he just like give you info and said good luck out there, or how did that go?
When I reached out to him, I was actually trying to get a dog. But then my parents were like, well, you're about to go to school, so you're not going to have anywhere to put it. So I reached out to him. I was like, can I board a dog at in your kennel? Like, I see you have these dogs. And he's like, I guess. And he starts asking me questions. And he's like, figures out I don't have a dog. And he's like, if you don't have a dog, just come hunt with me. He goes, I have kennels full. And turns out, like, his hunting buddy had just passed away the year before. So he had inherited a whole bunch of dogs from his hunting buddy, plus the dogs he had. He had probably 10 kennels full of dogs when I got there.
Damn.
And so,
what's a normal number of dogs for a typical guy to have? I don't even know. I feel like 10's a lot, but I don't know.
Really depends. I mean, I know guys that have one dog, and I know guys that have 30 dogs. I would say probably 6 to 10 is going to be common.
Okay.
So, and
that becomes an expensive habit pretty quick, right there. 6 to 10 dogs. Okay.
Dogs is not cheap.
Okay, well, keep going. I keep interrupting because
you're fine. And so I just started hunting with him all the time, and then quickly started hunting by myself. With his dogs, I did get a few dogs while I lived there, try to train them, and then moved home. There was kind of a gap when I moved home where I had dogs, but I wasn't really hunting hard. Just the biggest thing when I moved home was access to property. I didn't, when I came home, I didn't know where all the public land was. I didn't know how to find that. And so it kind of took me a few years, and then I met a bunch of coon hunters around me, and that's when I kind of started hunting a lot at home.
Okay.
And kind of got the dogs that I have today.
Okay. Interesting, man. Is there a specific moment where, like, you were going out with your buddy, the original, the internet browser buddy, that like you knew this was like what you wanted to do, and like you're like, this is exactly what I thought it would be. I'm gonna just keep doing this the rest of my life.
I don't know if I would ever say there was ever a moment like that.
Okay.
I went and met him before I moved out there. Like, I had to go out to the college. And so me and my dad went out there to meet him because my parents were like, we're going to make sure this guy's not a whack job. So
good parents.
Me and my dad go out there and meet
Come
him.
to my basement, boy.
Yeah. And
welcome to Ohio.
I get out there, and I was just like in awe of like just kennels full of dogs. And I'm just like, I remember I'm like, I can't wait to be out here and hunting. And so probably it didn't even take going out with him. Like, I had already been hooked long before, just on the idea of it.
Okay.
Between, like I said, where the red fern grows, the forums and the magazines, and then I did go that Feist before I went out, moved out there. But I think between all that, I had already figured out this is what I wanted to do.
Okay. What were your parents' thoughts? I got so many questions. I love the angle that you came into hunting. It's very unique. I've talked to a lot of folks.
Were not thrilled. Like, they didn't hate it. The biggest thing they didn't like is I was buying, I got 2 dogs while I was out there, and they're like, what are you doing getting dogs? And they did kind of green light them, but they weren't thrilled.
Okay.
And then I accumulated a few more before I moved out.
That's too funny, man.
I think I moved out with 4 dogs, so.
How many dogs do you have today?
Not including the house dogs. There's 4 out there now, but there's another one coming. So,
okay, awesome, man. Okay, Well, I've been taking us down the path that I was enjoying there, but we're here to hear some of your favorite stories, Ben. So, like, why don't you set the stage? I won't. I'll try my best not to go down any additional rabbit holes, but I have a feeling I've got plenty more questions, man. But yeah, set the stage for us.
So, some of my favorite stories haven't even been with my dogs, because with this podcast, and actually now I own a magazine as well. It's called Full Cry. It's been in business since 1939. It's opened a lot of doors, and I know a lot of people, so I've been able to kind of go around and hunt and do a lot of other things. And so while I've had some, a lot of memorable hunts with my own dogs, I've gotten to do a lot of really cool stuff because of just my platform that I've built over the last several years. So the last several years especially, I've gotten to do a lot more than just coon hunt around the house here.
Okay.
Everything from bear hunting to hog hunting, deer hunting with dogs. I've hunted, there's a thing called the Joy Super Hunt, and it's the top competition dogs in the country in a competition against each other. So, and when I say competition, so we'll start with Joy Super Hunt.
Okay, let's do it.
Joy Super Hunt is Joy Dog Food puts it on. So if you're not familiar with competition coon hunting is you take out coon hounds and there's a set of rules. You turn 4 dogs loose, and it's a game, honestly. So the handler has to make calls on what the dog is doing, but at the same point, the dog has to not mess up and be doing what you say it's doing.
Okay.
So you get points awarded. So it's not always the best dog. It's the best handler dog combo. So you can have the best dog out there, but if you're a trash handler, you're never going to win, or you're not going to win as much as you could. Yeah. Versus a really good handler with a mediocre dog can win a lot. So,
okay, interesting.
Theoretically, there's multiple registries, and they all have a world hunt. So what Joy Dog Food decided to do was take these world hunt winners from different registries. So theoretically, the best competition coon hounds in the country. And if you look at their track record, a lot of them they're in the winner's circle a lot. And so I've gotten the chance the last 4 years to go and film this hunt, because somewhere along the way I picked up a camera too. So I take photos and videos as well.
Yeah, I've been thinking about doing that, but also I'm not a good enough hunter to like do other things while hunting. Like I need to really concentrate on the point at hand, because it would just make me that much less successful, which I don't know how you could be less successful, but it's something I've toyed around with the idea of. So that's cool. Okay. Yeah. So
it's opened a lot of doors, including this door, and I've gotten to go to this Joy Super Hunt. And so the first 2 years were in Texas. Last year, the first 2 years I went were in Texas. Last year was in Tennessee. And I would say last year was probably the best hunt. And like I said, you're hunting with dogs that get hauled around the country, multiple weekends a year. And these dogs make thousands and thousands of dollars for their handlers.
Really?
Yeah. So the one dog that's been there the last 2 years, his earnings, whatever, in PKC, which is one of the kennel clubs, is pushing 400,000.
No way. That was way higher number than I was expecting. That's crazy. Man, there's money in everything.
Yes.
But he's the top, pun intended, he's the top dog.
Actually, I think in PKC, he actually is currently the number 1 dog.
Okay.
Now, like another female that was there, in a year and a half, she won well over $100,000.
Yeah.
The one handler, I was talking to him the one time, and he's like, I said, what was your winnings last year? And it was 300 and some thousand. He won in 1 year. And I was like, I know you're a businessman, so I'm like, what did you actually clear on that? And he's like, 170. I was like,
yeah,
dude, you're killing it on your hobby. Like,
yeah. So that's how much after like travel, expenses, dog food, whatever other training expenses that I'm not aware of, he pocketed 170.
Yeah, for a hobby. This is
cool.
Not his job.
Yeah.
So, these guys, they can make decent money. There's a lot of guys that are paid handlers, so that's their full-time job. They don't own the dog, they don't pay the expenses, but they get paid to go hunt. So, but it's been a pretty cool experience to hunt with these dogs, because they're a little different than what I'm going to find at my local coon hunters club. Different caliber dog, you know?
Yeah.
And
Do you think that's all like, what is it called? Like lineage, like the mom and dad? Do you think that's how much of a percentage of that kind of success comes from the lineage of the hound or the dog versus the training and the handler of the dog?
That's a hard question to ask. I mean, I think it does. I'm not saying that lineage and the genetics don't play a factor, but I think there's a lot of really well-bred dogs out there. So I think a lot of it, in order to get to the top, it takes just the right dog and then also being put in the right hands.
Okay.
Because, you know, I can own the best dog in the country right now. I'm not going to push that dog all over the country just because it's not something I'm really interested in.
Okay.
You know, I enjoy going to a competition hunt here and there, but it's not something I pursue, where there's guys that every weekend there's something.
Okay.
And so it's just, I think it's a combination of things.
Okay.
But I know this year we hunted for 2 hours. Now the 2 hours is on a timer. And so you're hunting that's a, you know, allotted amount of time. Now at the end of that, if dogs are treed and declared treed, which means like the handlers have said, hey, my dog's over there treed, you still have to go get them. So by the time it was all said and done, it was probably close to 3 hours. We covered almost 7 miles in 3 hours, going back and forth between 4 different dogs. And before it was all over, 2 of the dogs got so far out of it that those guys withdrew to go get their dogs because they were just too far away.
Yeah.
But in that 2 hour, well, a little over 2 hours, like I said, we saw 7 raccoons, I think. And that's the dog's treat. That's not just raccoons sitting up.
Yeah.
Which, for as much moving as we did and walking, that's all. That was that whole hunt is on YouTube, and it was actually probably one of the best competition hunts I've ever been to.
Okay. So were you actively hunting, or were you like doing the filmography and watching all the other guys doing it?
So I was just carrying a camera.
Okay.
So
that's cool, man.
And
what YouTube channel is that on? Because I'd like to check that out.
Cane Stream Media.
Okay. All right, we'll have to put a link to that in the show notes.
Kind of a partnership deal between the owner of Joy and another guy.
Okay. Very cool.
So if you're ever interested in competition coon hunting, I think that's probably one of the best filmed competition coon hunts out there.
Okay, so walk me through,
but just because
if you can, like how that works, right? Like what? So is it like bass fishing where it's like you only can bring in 4 coons or whatever, but then they weigh the coon, or like what exactly? How does this work?
Excuse me. So actually, in competition coon hunting, we don't kill anything.
Okay.
So that's I guess a big thing that's different between the hound hunting community versus the rest of the hunting world. Is like, we're there for the dog work. We're not necessarily there to kill anything. There's a lot of houndsmen that but rarely kill anything. Yeah.
I was telling you, I've talked to all sorts of Western houndsmen, and like they all like look for opportunities to work with like the Colorado Parks and Wildlife, where they're like, hey, are you guys doing any surveys and you want me to go help you find out how many, are in this area? And then they go and they tree them and they tag them and they do all that fun stuff. And then they're like, this was great. But they aren't actually killing anything. They're just out there running the dogs. Yeah. Yep.
And that's what we're all about. So even competition, we don't kill anything. And so we turn 4 dogs loose all together. Like I said, every one of them gets there's a first strike, second strike, third strike, fourth strike. That's all assigned a point value. And then there's a first tree, second tree, third tree, fourth tree. And that's all assigned a point value. So if they tree together, you go down the list. Now, if they tree apart, each tree gets its own tree points. Now, strike means the dog opens up on a track. So when we go out there and we cut those dogs loose, the first dog to open up on a track, and then in turn, the handler has to say, strike my dog. So that dog is now awarded 100 points. After that, 5, after that 50, 25. And then same thing with the tree. So Your dog goes and trees a coon, and you're the first one. You got first strike, and you got first tree. Now you're sitting at 225 pending. We go in there. Your dog has the coon. Now it's plussed. If it's on a telephone pole and it's obviously there's nothing there, now you're minused. Now if it's there's a tree with a big hole in it, it's circled. So plus, pretty simple. Minus, pretty simple. Circle basically means are only really used when it comes to a tie. So they don't really hurt you, they don't help you. So you really want to find that raccoon up there.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Interesting, man. Interesting. Have you ever, I know, like, in general, you're not killing much, but you ever, like, see a coon and you're like, holy crap, that's the biggest coon I've ever seen in my life. I need to get that guy and shoot it down and then taxidermy that bad boy or take it to the crock pot or what? You tell me.
I've never had a coon taxidermied. It's just cost me, But what I have had,
you got to do one, Ben. You got to do one.
I do have coonskin cap, and my kid. Well, my oldest has one. My middle is about to have one. It's getting worked on, and I'm sure my youngest son will eventually have one as well. So
that's awesome.
I have made some hats, or have them made. I don't make them, but
you got to. Yeah. It's like a rite of passage when it comes to.
Absolutely.
I've never done any coon hunting, but I know if I did, I'd have one of them hats.
Now, I will say, I went to Michigan bear hunting several years ago, and I saw a coon laying on the side of the road, and I told the guy, I said, man, I need to come up here and do some coon hunting. This thing looked like a bear cub. It was huge.
Really?
So, while I did not coon hunt while I was there, I really wish I would have been able to, because their coons were absolutely enormous.
Okay, that's funny. All right, man. Well, what other stories you got for us? That was the very interesting, the competition. I learned a lot. I didn't know anything about any of that until we just chatted here, so that's great. But where else are we going? What other hunting stories you have for us?
Like I said, it's open. I've had so many doors open. I think hog hunting in the swamps of North Carolina was pretty cool. So now that actually was all before all this started, and I just found it out. So I live in Pennsylvania. We have the Great American Outdoor Show, which is held in Harrisburg every year.
Okay.
And there was an outfitter there, and they offered some guided hog and bear hunts. And so the hog hunts were their cheapest option. My oldest was just born. When I booked the hunt, he was a month old. Oh. So,
how far out was the hunt booked?
Like 4 months. Okay. I booked it in October, or I booked it in February, and it was in April.
Okay.
And so, well, not even 4 months, a couple months.
Yeah.
2 months later. So I go down, took my brother-in-law. He was 18, I think, at the time. I was in my mid-20s. And then we stayed with a friend of mine, and then he ended up going along. And he's like my parents' age, actually. Him and my dad were in the Navy together. That's how I know him. And so he went on. I kind of knew what I was getting into. These two had no idea. They're just literally getting drug along with me.
Like, you didn't even tell them it was a swamp, did you?
Kind of. My brother-in-law thinks he's going to shoot this hog with a 30-06. He's dragging it around. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, no, we're not shooting it with a 30-06. But, couldn't tell him. So he brought it anyway. It literally sat on a boat floor all day. So.
Yeah. But what were you hunting with? I didn't know a 30-06 isn't a good option. What is the correct caliber or weapon?
So when you're hunting hogs with dogs, most guys are not going to let you shoot anything. Most guys are going to make you stick it.
Okay. Yeah, with a knife?
Absolutely. Okay. And a lot of it's a safety thing for dogs. So you go in there, you send a catch dog in, you catch it, and then you go in and stick it.
That makes a ton of sense. In fact, I have a friend. So I went to the University of Colorado Boulder, and a girl that was on their volleyball team, of all people, she moved to Hawaii, and she got involved with people that ran dogs out in Hawaii killing hogs. And she's like, used to tell this graphic story about like the dogs get the hog, bring it to the ground, and then someone would hand her a knife, and she remembers just like slitting the throat in the moonlight and the dark blood covering her hands. I'm like, wow, that is quite the graphic story. Like the way she tells it is much better than me. I should probably have her on, although that'd probably be the only story she has and be like a 5-minute episode. Yeah. But it's very beautiful the way that she explained it. which is crazy. But yeah, she's like, that's a special memory for me to like go out there and do that and take it into your hands. It's a little different, right? They always say that in like movies where like, you know, stabbing someone is a lot more intimate than shooting them, and it's a lot harder to do. So that puts a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? It puts a lot of like, I don't know, a lot of this just emotion into what you guys are doing when you have to like put them down that way.
And I wasn't sure. Like they said they had a spear too, and I was kind of half leaning. I'm thinking I'm going to use the spear because I didn't know if I had the kahunas to go up and stab a hog either.
Yeah.
So we get out there. I didn't realize we were hunting off a boat. So we end up on a boat with 6 or 7 hounds and this big catch dog. This big catch dog is a Dogo Argentino. I don't know if you know what that is. They are a giant mastiff breed that's white. They're from Argentina, and her name is Soko, and she's the biggest lap dog ever, and very friendly. Just 120 pounds. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So I proceeded to ride around with this giant lap dog throughout the morning on the boat, and because she decided she liked me, and they have baits set up. So we go up to the bait. They dump dogs, not running any cameras, but dogs hit a track and they go. So they're like, great. So first track of the day, I don't know, we're probably 8:30, 9 o'clock, looking like a great start to our morning. And so we are watching where these dogs are going on the GPS, and they're like, all right, they're kind of going around. So we're going to go around in the boat because the ground we were hunting on, it is thick. Like you can barely walk through this swamp. It's just so thick with saplings and brush. And so they're like, if we can get closer on the boat, we're better off. So that's what we do. We go around, and they're like, oh, they got, on our way there, they're like, they've got that hog bait right on the edge of the water. We come around this point, they're like, we should see them. We get around there. There's no dogs. There's no hog. So we stop the boat and we're listening. And they're like, there's not a hog in these woods big enough to push that pack of 6 or 7 hounds back up in that woods. They're like, we're running a bear. I was like, great. So then we sat there for a few minutes, and they're like, those hounds are going to run that bear all day long.
Hey, hunters. Have you ever had one of those stories, the ones that you didn't want to tell, the ones that end in failure? Yeah, I've been there. Actually, you know what? The culprit for me usually is bad optics, or worse, lack of using my optics at all. Picture this. I spot a trophy buck, or an antelope, or an elk, whatever it may be. My heart is racing, but the blurry view, or I just can't quite identify exactly what I'm looking at, it has me second guessing. Well, that's where Vortex Optics comes in. With crystal clear glass and rugged durability, Vortex gives you the confidence to take the shot. Don't let poor optics ruin your story. Make every moment count. Upgrade to Vortex and turn your hunting tales into triumphs. Visit vortexoptics.com today. Hey, hunters. Have you ever had one of those stories, the ones that you didn't want to tell, the ones that end in failure? Yeah, I've been there. Actually, you know what? The culprit for me usually is bad optics, or worse, lack of using my optics at all. Picture this. I spot a trophy buck, or an antelope, or an elk, whatever it may be. My heart is racing, but the blurry view, or I just can't quite identify exactly what I'm looking at, it has me second guessing. Well, that's where Vortex Optics comes in. With crystal clear glass and rugged durability, Vortex gives you the confidence to take the shot. Don't let poor optics ruin your story. Make every moment count. Upgrade to Vortex and turn your hunting tales into triumphs. Visit vortexoptics.com today.
Our best bet is to go back to the truck and get the other pack of dogs that we left there. Great. Okay. It's still early.
Okay.
So let's go. So another 20-minute boat ride back to the dock. We get another pack of dogs. Go to a different bait. Kind of a similar setup. They take it. Great. And they do get a hog bait up. So we go around kind of like I said, similarly, get as close as we can in the boat. The one guy jumps off the boat and he's like, just stay on my heels. All right. So that's what I do. And I followed him right into this bay. never realizing at one point that I completely left my brother-in-law and my family friend in the middle of a swamp where the family friend stepped out of his boot. My brother-in-law stuck behind him. I had no idea. I was just eyes forward.
I love it, man. That's hunting, right? You're just like in the moment. You're like, it doesn't matter. Keep up or get lost.
Exactly. Like 5 minutes later, after I got there, they're like, they finally show up, and I'm like, where were you at? And they're like, I got stuck in the mud. I'm like, had no idea. So, of course, they send this catch dog in, and before I even see this hog, they send her in, so you can just hear it all. And pigs are just noisy, no matter what. So it sounds like carnage just because this pig is screaming. And it turned out to be nothing phenomenal by any means. It was like a 75-pound shoat. She caught him by the face, and the guys, they grab the back legs of this hog. They hand me a knife, and they're like, stick it right here, right behind the shoulder blade into the lungs, and just go down. So I did that on both sides. And honestly, that knife going into that hog, I don't know. I figured you were going to have to like really force it. It was like a hot knife through butter.
Oh, that's
And
crazy.
so-
I've processed some hogs like down in Texas.
Yeah.
And man, they're thick, like tough skin, hard to cut. So they must have had a sharp knife.
I know. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, dang. But man, I got the adrenaline pumping just hearing all that and getting in there. And like I said, yeah, it wasn't a huge hog, but it was a pretty cool experience.
Yeah. That's
Unfortunately,
awesome, man.
after that, the hunting, just got worse. We went to several different bait sites after that, and dogs just couldn't strike anything. And we tried to get the other hounds that were running that bear. And at one point, we got, I don't know, we were probably within a mile of them. And they're like, if we go in there, that bear's just going to keep walking, because they could tell it was walking. They're like, that bear's not going to go up a tree. That bear's not going to, allow us to get those dogs. So they're like, we'll come back in the morning for those dogs.
That's crazy, man.
I'll run them all night.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you say so. And like I said, I had never bear hunted at this point either, so I was kind of just dumbfounded. But hey,
That's interesting. That's interesting. So I've heard one other North Carolina swamp story, and I won't ruin it, but I encourage you to go listen to it because it's one of my favorite stories. It involves deer hunting, swamps, North Carolina, and an open testicle wound. So, yeah. So it's a good one. Jim Huntsman is the episode. If you don't know Jim, he's amazing. He's another podcaster. He runs the Western Huntsman podcast, which is, he's got the perfect name for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great show. He's out of Idaho now, but he was in the military in North Carolina. And so anyone who hasn't listened to that episode and you just want to hear about an open testicle wound in a North Carolina swamp, like, I'm not going to give you anything else, but it's a crazy story. So
yeah,
highly recommend. Ben, you have to go listen to that one now.
I will definitely have to, for sure.
Cool, man. All right, well, what else you got? Let's keep going. Rapid fire.
That family friend that I hog hunted with down there, he's a member of a deer hunting lease that runs deer dogs in Virginia. So several years later, he invited me to come down and experience that. So we're like, all right. I was like, great. Like I said, I'm not a big deer hunter. I've deer hunted, in the last 10 years, I could probably count on two hands the times I've deer hunted. So it's not my thing.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm like, okay, we're running dogs. That's different. That is my thing. So I'm like,
okay. Cool. Yeah.
And I thought it was kind of, I don't know. I would have had a lot more fun riding around in the truck with the hound guys, but my buddy's not the hound guy. So I kind of went and sat on stand like he does. And it's interesting. Don't get me wrong. And if I was going to deer hunt, this is the way I would want to deer hunt. Yeah. Basically, they put people on stand, turn a bunch of hounds loose, and the hounds run deer and hopefully run them towards you. Well, I get stuck in a cutover the first day. Thick, nasty cutover. I'm like, all right, they come. Well, behind me there is a wall of just briars. Behind that wall of briars is a cut soybean field. It's in late November.
Okay.
They came up to the corner of this cut soybean field, and where those briars started and this cutover, and they turned the hounds loose. I don't know how many. They dumped a whole truckload of hounds in this cutover, and I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden here jumps up this little buck. I would have never seen this buck. I was sitting, I don't know, 75, 80 yards away from him. He was bedded down, never would have seen him until he jumped up. And he starts running for the the cut soybean field. So I get up and I start trying to make my way to that field because I'm like, once he gets out in that field, he's going to be running away from the road, theoretically, especially because that truck's up there. So I'll have a shot at him. Wouldn't you know, I don't know if the guy's out there at the truck or if there was another dog, whatever, turned him, and he ran right past where I was sitting. So
that sounds right.
That was my exciting deer hunt with hounds. I'm like, if I would have sat there, I would have actually had a shot at him. But
I think every hunter has that story one way or another where, like, if I would have done nothing, I would have been successful. Instead, I tried to make something happen, and nothing happened. Like every hunter has that story. That's awesome.
Like I said, it was fun. It was a cool experience.
Yeah. Would you ever do that again? Like run the dogs for deer, or is it just like meh?
If I was going to do it, like I said, I'd rather go ride around with the guys that actually run the dogs.
Okay. Yeah.
And like I said, I think that's the big difference between a lot of houndsmen and other hunters is like pulling the trigger isn't what gets me excited. It's the dog work. Yeah. So, and that's where like carrying a camera, I get to be a part of a lot of different stuff and a lot of different action. And yeah, I didn't shoot a squirrel, a bear, a deer, whatever. And I wasn't even carrying a gun. Like a lot of times I don't. But I still get to be right there in the middle of it all and get to experience it all. Yeah. Which, I don't know, to me, that's the fun of it. That's what I enjoy.
Yeah. That's what I hear about all houndsmen is like just seeing how excited the critters or the dogs get. It's just like, it's why they do it. It's not for anything other than seeing that excitement. And I've yet to experience it. Like I think I told you, I've been invited. I just haven't had the opportunity to get out there and actually check it out. But I do really, really want to go out there. And I don't want to bring a weapon. I just want to go out there, hike around, maybe see a mountain lion. I've never seen a mountain lion in my life. I've been in the woods for years. But also just seeing the dogs in their natural element. I think that would be amazing. I'm jealous when I see a really impressive hunting dog. Like they are such cool animals. Here's a question I have for you. How often do the dogs get hurt?
That really depends on what you're hunting, where you're hunting.
Okay.
I would say with bear and wild boar, your injuries tend to be more frequently and also more severe. With coon hunting, the biggest dangers to dogs with coon hunting, honestly, is a dog climbing a tree or just impaling itself on something in the woods.
Okay. Interesting.
Or, getting into, I don't know, I've heard of dogs getting into different things that, poisons, even just water that had some sort of like toxin in it or something, that kind of stuff that it's really not the dog getting hurt, but ends up getting sick or dying because of something like that.
Okay.
But, bear hunting and hog hunting are definitely rougher on a dog. Mountain lions and bobcats don't tend to be too bad most of the time by comparison. And like I said, this is just more from me talking to a lot of different hunters across the country, not from my own firsthand experience, because I've never seen a mountain lion or a bobcat.
Okay.
At least, treed by a dog. No.
Gotcha, man.
From the bobcat side, it's not for lack of trying. No, the mountain lion side, I've never had the opportunity, but...
Yeah. You got mountain lions out there in Pennsylvania?
No.
Okay. What's the biggest cat you guys do have?
So we have bobcats here.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay.
We've tried to run them. And I went to South Texas and tried to run them, and with a really well-known bobcat hunter, and we just had some crappy weather blow in and did not have any luck.
So I went to a wild game potluck, and they had there was some houndsmen there, and they provided a bunch of those for meat. So they had like a a mountain lion green chili, and it was one of the best things I ever ate in my life. Somebody else made a bobcat like regular chili or something. I did not like bobcat. I'll tell you that. It was not something that I would necessarily recommend. I would try it again because you never know. Like maybe it was just not a good preparation. But I will say, man, that I occasionally think about that green chili and how good it was. It was so tasty. Tasted exactly like pork. It's crazy.
Yeah. I know the United Houndsmen of Colorado, when they were out a couple years ago trying to fight that anti-mountain lion hunting legislation.
Yeah.
I know they set up with some of that, with some mountain lion green chili.
Yeah.
And the one guy I was talking to from the association said that won a lot of people over because a lot of people just think that they're, you're shooting it as a trophy.
I bet we're talking about the same guys because it's the same guys that I met, and they have they give you the recipe, but on the recipe it says like Uncle Sam's secret seasoning, and I'm like, that doesn't help, man. You can't you can't give me 80% and not get me all the way there. It's ridiculous.
That's funny.
Yeah, but I bet it's the same people.
Chili won a lot of people over.
It's so good. Did you try it?
I've never been out there. No, I just heard about it.
Oh, dude, so good, so good. All right, well, let's keep going, Ben. You got any more? I'll listen all night, but if that's where you want to stop, we can stop there too. It's your call, my guy.
Bear hunting is if I could move tomorrow, I would move somewhere I could have a pack of bear hounds. That's what I love. I've only ever shot one bear. I've been on several other successful bear hunts, though. It's just the adrenaline rush of a lifetime. Like, especially you get a bear treat or you get a bear bait on the ground. It's like nothing else.
Okay.
And so my bear, let me adjust these real quick. Sorry, look at that. My bear had some beginner's luck. Well, the first day. So, actually, let me back this up a little bit. Bought a dog, kind of met somebody through a dog deal. They had a litter mate, and so that's how I met him. He's like, I'd like to go bear hunting. Her boyfriend was a bear hunter, and she's like, yeah. She's like, come on down and hunt with me and my boyfriend Chris. And I was like, great. Well, at the time, they lived in Mississippi because she was in vet school. So they're like, we'll come home. We're coming home in December. Cool. So I go down there where they're from. We meet up. You talk about meeting people on the internet, and randomly I meet them at a gas station. I give them my dog, and yep, I'll see you in the morning. Meanwhile, I'm staying back at this motel.
You know what's funny is all other facets of life, you meet someone on the internet and then meet them at a gas station, it's not going to end well. Something about meeting other hunters, it's fine. Like, that's what we do. We're like, when you need to find a way to accomplish your hunting goal, dream, whatever it is, meet someone on the internet, meet them at a gas station. It's not weird.
Some of my best friends in the hound hunting world would be just random people I've met on the internet. So
yeah, it's so funny. Okay. And I know so many hunters that have done it because they're like, I don't have this experience. I got to find somebody to help me along. So
I met Chris and Aaron at this gas station. The next morning, we're like, all right, we're going to go. So we go and we get out there and we meet up with this other guy. And he's like, hey, I got some other guys that I know that are hunting today. He goes, do you guys want to hunt with them? I'm like, sure, whatever. And Chris is like, sure. So we go meet up with this big group of young guys. And granted, I'm young too, so I was 26 maybe, so a bunch of guys, most of them I would say are like late teens, early 20s. Okay. So a few years younger than me, but not ridiculous. And Chris is like, while I've bear hunted a long time, my dogs aren't the best bear dogs just because we've been living in Mississippi for the last several years. It's like, okay. So he's like, maybe we'll have a better chance going with these guys. Okay. We get out there. They dump 25 dogs down on the ground. It's an absolute chaos.
I don't even know what that would look like. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like a swarm of bugs just leaving their trucks.
And I swear there's probably 15 people. So we got 25 dogs and 15 people. We're just roaming through the woods looking for a bear track. And they strike a track. They start running. Sounds good. Moving along. Finally, they tree. Cool. We go in. We start looking around. There's not a bear in this tree. I have no idea why these 25 dogs decided to tree on a tree with absolutely nothing in it, but they did. And my buddy looks over at me. He goes, with coon hunting, it's called a slick tree, regardless of what game you're hunting. For a hound hunter, if your dog trees and there's nothing there, it's slick. He goes, slick trees don't happen when you're bear hunting typically. He's like, I get it. It happens when you coon hunt sometimes. He goes, it doesn't really happen when you bear hunt. Like, you figure bears are big, stinky animals, especially the dog. So he's like, I goes, I don't know what's going on here, but this isn't, he's like, I don't really know these guys. He goes, or their dogs, but I think we've learned enough. So we parted ways and ended our day. So that was my first day.
Okay.
And then the second day, we meet up with another friend of his, and it was just a small group of us. And same kind of thing. We're walking some ridges and stuff, just trying to find a track. And it was late, mid-December. I shouldn't say it was late, but it was second or third week. So most of your bears are denned up. There's not a lot of movement. It was cold. So we start walking these ridges out, and finally we kind of split up. Chris and Aaron went down through this laurel thicket. Me and the other guy Donnie start walking down a little further, and then we're going to drop off at the end. And hopefully between two of us, or the four of us, the two groups, we'll jump something. Well, as soon as me and Donnie kind of fall off the edge, his one female English hound, she jumps a bear, and it comes back up on top of the ridge, runs the length of this ridge about 900 yards and pulls up treed. If you know anything about bear hunting, bears like to run, typically. A lot of bear chases are miles long. So while my first day was a chaotic mess, the second day was absolute beginner's luck. And this thing treated in 900 yards. We walked back up the ridge and just down right off the top of the ridge. And it wasn't a monster bear by any means, but it all just worked out. So I had some beginner's luck for sure that day. Yeah. And I paid for it after that because my buddy Chris, I hunted with him for several years after that. And it probably took me 3 years to see another bear.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It just
all Pennsylvania, or is that where this is?
No, so we're not allowed to run bears in the state of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
We have bear season, but we can't bait, can't use hounds. PA's weird, and we have this big culture of doing bear drives.
Okay.
But so this was in West Virginia.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, but I hunted with him for several years, and like I said, I've ended up in some nasty holes in mountains. We would get on bear, just get outrun, and then you're collecting dogs or
man,
yeah,
that'd be fun. I can hear, like, just listening to this story, I can just hear the dogs barking, like, in my subconscious. I like I told you when we started, man, I love dog stories. I don't think there's a bad dog story. It's like the opposite of a fishing story. Like fishing stories, it's like, I was fishing and I caught a fish. Like there's not much more you can tell, other than how big it is, and that's never the truth. But something about dog stories, man. Every one of them is just like so intriguing, and I can hear the sounds of the woods when I'm hearing them. Here's another one I got for you, Ben. Cliff Gray. If you know Cliff Gray, he was out of Colorado. I think he still guides in Colorado, but he might live in Puerto Rico now. He was on the podcast. I don't know what episode number. Check it out. It is the craziest hound story that I've heard, and I've heard a fair amount of them at this point. But he told one story. It's like 45 minutes long about a mountain lion basically trapping a dog in a cave, and it's gnarly. And then Cliff resolves it. His testicles are fine in this story, but the rest of the story is almost unbelievable. So I recommend you read or listen to that one as well, man.
Yes, I've heard a few other lion stories similar. I've got a friend. He was a government hunter, and I met him because of the podcast. But I've talked to him. I've kept in contact with him, and so I still talk to him every now and again. And he's in his 70s now. So when he was a government hunter working full time, we're talking 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Prime. Technology and equipment were not the same as they are today,
I
especially
imagine so.
flashlights.
Yeah.
Some of the stories, like he's like, yeah, I lit a match to see what was in this cave, and because I had this little cheap flashlight that didn't work, or I'm like, geez.
Man, that's the kind of guy that I want to get on my podcast. And we talked a little about this. Like, old timers are not good with technology.
Oh, yeah.
They don't know podcasts. They don't know social media. So if I don't, and I didn't grow up hunting, so I didn't have this circle of old timers to like pull stories from.
Mm-hmm.
I say this like once every 10 episodes, but like if anyone listening has an old timer, I would love to have them on. And I'm even letting, if like, Ben, if you have an old timer that you want to have on, you can host my podcast. I can either not show up, or I can be a fly on the wall and let you do it. I want people to bring their dads, their grandpas. I want to collect the stories from the people that this modern media thing that we're doing is just like adjacent to, and that they're not aware of it, and the people that I can't get a hold of. So if you know someone, Ben, that you want to send my way or interview yourself and share their stories on my podcast, I'd love it. And to all my listeners, if you guys have an old timer, please reach out. No one has taken me up on this. No one. I've been doing it I've been offering it for like a year and a half, man.
You've told me to check out a few of yours. Go check out my episode with Daryl Fry.
Okay.
And you want to get in touch with Daryl Fry after you listen to that, I'll put you in touch with him.
Deal. It's a deal.
He's
man.
actually not too far from me. He's Nevada.
Okay. Yeah. Well, everything's that far out here in the West. I'll tell you that. It's not quite as this. Our states are a little bit bigger. It takes a minute to get anywhere. If I wanted to drive to Nevada right now, it would take me 10 hours, 12 hours, something like that.
It's a hop, skip, and a jump. Come on.
All right. Cool, Ben. Well, man, this has been fun. You got any more for us, or you want to wrap it up right here?
I've told you a lot of like other stuff. I'll tell you a story about one of my dogs. So I had this little fat cur dog named Maggie. I have no idea anything about this dog. She came from a horse trader, and I was told she was a good dog. The first weekend I hunted with her, she ran a bunch of junk and acted a fool. And basically what it ended up, she had to become my friend before she would hunt for me. So it took us some bonding time to become buddies before she would hunt for me. But anyway, I'd had her for probably the next year. She was a broke dog when I got her, older dog. Like I said, don't know anything about her. And so we're hunting with my buddy Brian. He's got 2 big blue tick hounds. And when I say he's got 2 big blue tick hounds, I mean, we're talking, his one dog's not huge, but his other one is. The dog's got a head like a mastiff and is probably 80 pounds. And then the other dog's probably a 65, 70 pound dog.
Okay.
So
big dogs.
Some bigger dogs. And I've got this little, like I said, she's fat, but she's probably only 50 pounds. She should probably be 42, 43 pounds. But
right.
I think she was spayed, and I'm pretty sure she was spayed because she never came in heat, and then allowed to get fat, and I could never slim her down. But so we're out there, we're coon hunting, and Brian has his neighbor kid and his neighbor kid's friend along. And so typically when we, like I said, cooners, we don't care about killing coon. Like, it's not, sure, we shoot some out for our dogs. It's kind of their reward, but it's not something we really care about.
Yeah.
So we go out, we tree a coon. These dogs are looking good. And they back up and actually get out to the edge of a field and are shining this tree, and they're like, oh, we found the coon. I'm like, great. So I'm down at the base of this tree. I tie all the dogs up except for his one big male dog, Spike. This is the one with the giant head. And so Spike's loose, and he lets the neighbor kid's friend, he's like, here, I'll let you shoot this coon out. I don't know how many times this kid shot up in that tree, but pow, 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 nothing. Like, when you hit a coon, you hear a thud at least. Well, you're not hearing nothing. I'm pretty sure he emptied a 10-22 clip, and then starts shooting again. Finally hits this coon. Coon falls out. This big dog Spike runs over. Like I said, he's 80 pounds with a giant head. You'd think he should grab a coon and one crunch and he's done.
Yeah.
No, this dog can't fight a coon to save his life. And if it has any life in it, he stands there and barks at it and kind of halfway tries to grab at it, but not very good. So, and of course, this kid did not do a very good job of shooting this coon. You know, most of us coon hunters, we try to knock it out dead. Like, the reward is the dog gets to chew on a dead coon, the fur. Like, I don't need a dog fight at the end, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So
you don't want to have to get your knife out and blade the coon.
This kid, like I said, trying to be nice to this the neighbor kid's friend, who's never coon hunted in a day in his life, and yeah, it come out with a whole bunch of life left in him. So I have no idea where he shot that coon, or if the coon just decided to jump out of the tree, which I've seen before. So now we've got this mess of a fight on the ground, and Brian's out there, my buddy Brian. He's hollering. He goes, "Turn the other dog loose." So I go and turn his other dog loose. So now I got two big blue ticks standing there baying this coon.
Yeah.
They're trying to kind of fight it, but they're not really. They're more just standing there barking at it.
Yeah, they're just having some fun.
You know, they would get close enough that they'd get their ear caught, and then they'd be squalling and running and dragging a coon on their ear. So finally, I get over to my little fat cur dog, which, like I said, she's 50 pounds, you know, and she's overweight. I cut her loose, and she's the one that gets in the middle of this and actually kills the coon. And I'm like, Brian, we got close to 150-pound blue tick over here that can't kill a coon. My little fat dog, you know, that's half the size of your one dog, is what it takes to kill a coon. And I'm like, we got a problem over here. He goes, yeah, they're not good kill dogs. So I learned, you know, it's not the size of the dog. That's for sure.
Yeah. What do they say? It's not the size of the fight in the dog. It's not the size of the dog in the fight, but the fight in the dog.
Yeah. We learned
That's
that
pretty funny.
that night. Like I said, that was not what we were aiming for by any means, but
yeah.
And then once
how'd the boys deal with it? All said and done, like his first time out, shooting a bunch of rounds up, kind of panicking, not killing the coon like he thought he was going to. Was the kid all right, or was he jacked up?
He was jacked up.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
that's cool. Well, Ben, man, this has been a lot of fun, brother. This has been great, and I know we both have kids under 6 months, so we should probably. And dude, you're 2 hours ahead of me, so we should probably get to bed. So let's do this, man. Let's tell the people where they can find you. Talk about your podcast, your magazine, your socials, whatever it might be. I want to make sure they can find you.
Yeah. So the podcast, like I said, is called Tree Talking Time. Everywhere else on social media, it's Tree Talking Media. Tree Talking Media kind of came first because, like I said, the photos and video side of things. Do have some YouTube videos, which YouTube has the podcast, but also actual videos of hunts. And then I recently acquired this magazine. It's called Full Cry Magazine. Magazine's been around since 1939, and I just put out my second issue as the owner. I started writing for the magazine about 5 years ago, and it's kind of went through several owners over the last few years. And because I was writing for it, that's kind of how I got my foot in the door. And it's not that I ever planned on owning a magazine or wished to own a magazine. I just didn't want to see it go away. So
yeah. That's awesome, man. So what's the give me the cliff notes on the magazine, like when someone picks up
tree dogs.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Big game hounds and squirrel dogs.
Okay. Very cool, man. Very cool.
It all goes hand in hand because despite the fact that it's two different names, three technically, different names, it's all the same stuff. So Tree Talking Media, Tree Talking Time, Full Cry Magazine. It's
very
all
cool.
about dogs.
Awesome, Ben, man. Well, it was a pleasure hearing your stories. Like I said, I love dog stories. Maybe I should have been a houndsman. It's not too late, I guess, right? So I need to get out there and experience it.
I know a few Colorado hound hunters. We can get you out there.
Okay. Well, we'll talk offline about that because I'm super interested. As soon as the wife's going to let me just go chase cats around the mountains with dogs, I'm in. But also, man, thank you very much for saving the day.
No problem.
Getting on here, recording some stories. I appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Of course, man. Ooh. All right, guys, that's it. Another couple stories in the books. I want to say again, thank you to Ben for coming on the podcast. It was a pleasure to have you. Beyond that, guys, if you enjoyed what you heard, give him a follow. I got links to everything in the show notes, from his magazine to his socials to his podcast. Everything you'd need is there. And while you're checking out the show notes, check out my links. Give me a like, give me a follow. If you haven't reviewed, I do appreciate 5-star reviews. I really do. Guys, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Now, get out there and make some stories of your own.